At the start of the Reward Systems course, I present a systems model of an organization called the complex hologram. In this section of the course, I'll remind you of the 8 tracks of quantum transformation, which are the means to transform all barriers to success into channels for success, as shown by the systems and processes in the complex hologram. Even though this course will focus on the 5th track of the 8-track program, to be true to the complex hologram, we must always keep in mind why it's so important to implement the several tracks that are positioned before the reward system, as well as the several tracks that need to be implemented after the reward system track. Next, I show you 2 dueling paradigms, representing different ways of seeing, thinking, feeling, and behavior, which underlie 2 radically different types of organizations. The chart on the top displays the traditional Newtonian organization, while the image on the bottom shows the quantum organization. To reinforce the point about a dire need for a paradigm shift, I present a timeline that indicates when the world dramatically changed as never before, due to the confluence of several key events within a relatively short period of time. The deregulation of many industries, political transformation in several nations, and the emergence of the personal computer, the World Wide Web, and the Internet. Based on these dramatic changes, the survival of traditional Newtonian organizations has become increasingly challenged in our global village, especially if the organization's strategy, structure, and reward system are still designed to control passive job holders in a predictable and protected marketplace. That's why it's so essential for all organizations to vividly see the false assumption that short-term results, such as quarterly profitability and current market share, automatically lead to future success. Not coming to terms with this blatantly false assumption has resulted in many bankrupt organizations and failed institutions during the past several decades. Yet, by fully acknowledging the radical differences between a Newtonian and a quantum organization, and understanding how these different paradigms require fundamentally different reward systems, you'll be able to appreciate why only a performance-based reward system that is purposely designed for self-aware participants can enable an organization to adapt to an increasingly dynamic and highly interconnected world, where short-term results no longer predict future success. In the next section of the course, I use this illustration to discuss why the 4 prior tracks to quantum transformation pave the way for designing and implementing an effective performance-based reward system, where mindful members will be truly inspired to achieve high performance and satisfaction. And because of having implemented the prior tracks, the organization and its members will be fully capable of responding to sudden shifts in the marketplace. But now let's focus on the reward system itself by asking this bottom line question. How does the organization motivate high performance measured accurately with its extrinsic and intrinsic rewards? By carefully examining the meaning of performance, measurement, motivation, and rewards, it's possible to establish a performance-based reward system that encourages long-term success in today's fast-paced world. In the next section of this course, I examine the primary concepts that are displayed in the dynamic model of performance cycles, which illustrates how people's needs, perceptions, and expectations determine the amount of effort they put forth on the job. That effort, when combined with their skills and a clear understanding of what their job requires, leads to performance, and, with intrinsic and extrinsic rewards, then leads to satisfaction. Based on this model, you'll see how a reward system produces either a growth cycle or a vicious cycle, depending on the credibility of the reward system, I then discuss how an organization can avoid the vicious performance cycles, where members only do the minimum to get by, and instead actively promote the growth performance cycles. Based on what we covered in the previous courses on conflict management and change management, I next describe why a problem management organization, called a PMO for short, is necessary. First, to formulate the best reward policies and practices, and second, to effectively implement these revised formal systems throughout the organization. To facilitate this process of redesigning the reward system, I provide a set of worksheets for exploring the entire forest of reward system gaps for the 10 to 30 members of a problem management organization. In the next section of the course, Organizing the RST groups, a number of conclusion groups, or C groups as they are called, will be formed to further investigate a unique set of reward system gaps. Another set of worksheets is provided in the course manual, so each C group can develop into a well-functioning team, which includes formulating its mission and operating plan. Then, in the section Closing Reward System Gaps, a third set of special worksheets is provided, so the community of C groups can perform a thorough assumptional analysis on the most complex and important RST gaps that were identified. Since the reward system must inspire members to achieve high performance and satisfaction, both short-term and long-term, we can't take the chance that any aspect of reward policies or practices is based on false assumptions, which could possibly lead to those vicious cycles rather than produce those desired growth cycles. By the way, you can take our reward systems course and fully benefit from its lessons without first having to take our other courses. Although the ideal approach is to take our online courses in the recommended sequence, if you haven't yet taken Advanced Training in Conflict Management and our Critical Thinking course, don't worry. I provide a brief review of the 5 steps and eras of problem management, as well as a brief review of the 3 stages of assumptional analysis, so you'll have the necessary background to successfully learn the highly participative PMO process for redesigning the formal systems in any organization.